Hello, I'm Steve Shaw, National Coordinator of Football Officials and Secretary Rules Editor for the NCAA. And today we're presenting our first preseason training video for 2025, and we're going to be focused on our rule changes. Now, we'll also highlight a couple of editorial changes, but from an on-field rules perspective, our game is in good shape, but we do have a few items that we must be attentive to for 2025. With that, let's get straight on into our rule changes. Our first change for 2025 is around feigning injuries. We know that this has been a bad look for our game. It's an integrity issue, and the Rules Committee has now approved that if a player presents as injured after the ball is spotted by game officials, that team will be charged a team timeout or a delay of game penalty if all their timeouts have been used. Now note, there are three play interpretations with this. First, replay can assist the crew on the field in determining the timing of the injury in relation to the ball being spotted. If an official stops the game for an apparent injury, no team timeout will be charged. And then finally, after a charged team timeout, if a player of that team presents as injured after the ball is spotted by officials, a foul for illegal delay of game occurs. Our first play, we see that the ball is spotted, the offense is at the line, and then number 56, he's going to go down injured. This would result in a team timeout for the defense, and number 56 would have to go out of the game for at least one play. Now, our second play, we see that the ball is down. Again, the offense is at the ball, and a defender goes down. And then we see another defender, number 44. He starts to have a hamstring issue, but he stays up. So the officials should stop the game here, but only the defender that went down must leave the game. Number 44 can stay in the game, but the defense will be charged a team timeout. Our third play, the offense, they make a long gain down to the +4. The ball is spotted, and the defender back near the 30-yard line, he's going to go down. Now, the crew properly stops the game. The back judge sees the injured player. Now, the player who went down, he's got to go out of the game. His team is charged a team timeout. And this is the type play that replay can help the crew in determine the timing of this injury. And then our last play, and this is just a reminder that the rule applies to all players, including the offense. And so the action that we see here would cost the offense a team timeout. Our next change concerns timeouts in extra periods. We know that each team is allowed one timeout in the first extra period and one timeout in the second extra period. But new for 2025, each team will be allowed only one timeout beginning with the third extra period until the game is ended. And in addition, radio and TV timeouts are permitted only after the first and second extra periods. Once we get to the third extra period, we're just going to play through. And in games that have no media timeouts, after the second extra period, there'll be a 2-minute mandatory break period. There is a change to the referee announcement following an instant replay review for this year. There's no change if the ruling on the field is overturned. But now, if the video evidence confirms the on-field ruling, or if there's no clear and obvious evidence, the old stands, then the referee is going to announce the ruling on the field is upheld. The bottom line is confirmed and stands is replaced by upheld. The scrimmage kick formation definition is being refined and modernized for 2025. And the change is, to be a scrimmage kick formation, you cannot have a player other than the potential kicker or holder aligned within the frame of the body of the snapper, and no player aligned in the clear path from the snapper to the potential kicker or holder. And the balance of the definition is unchanged, including to qualify as a scrimmage kick formation, it must be obvious a kick will be attempted. As we take a look at a formation, because there's a player lined up behind within the frame of the body of the snapper, this would not qualify as a scrimmage kick formation. And if this up back moved over outside the frame of the snapper, but in the clear path to the kicker, then it would also not qualify as a scrimmage kick formation. Now note that these formations are not necessarily illegal, they just don't qualify as a scrimmage kick formation. So if they're not a scrimmage kick formation, then the offense must have 5 players numbered 50 to 79 on the line of scrimmage, and if they don't, then it would be an illegal formation. One additional note here, we know that the snapper gets protection when their team is lined up in a scrimmage kick formation, but new for 2025, if the snapper is on the end of the line of scrimmage, he could be eligible. And if he's lined up on the end of the line, he will lose his protection from alignment and when he can be contacted. We know that any waving signal by any player of the receiving team is an invalid signal. And now we're including the T signal given by a receiving team player on a free kick as an invalid signal. This signal will take away the receiving team's opportunity to return the kick, and the ball will be dead where caught or recovered, and it will be treated as any invalid signal. And as we take a look at a play from our bowl season, we see that the receiver's in the end zone. He gives the T signal indicating that he's not going to return the ball. He makes the catch, walks forward a little bit, then he's going to throw a backward pass to a teammate across the end zone who tries to run up the opposite sideline. Now, this play with the new rule would be declared dead where the receiver caught the ball and they would put the ball in play 1st and 10 at the 25-yard line. Defensive team movement and disconcerting signals will continue to be points of emphasis for all officials, and additional language has been added to make it clear that any defender may not make quick and abrupt or exaggerated actions that simulate action at the snap and are designed to draw the offense offside. This will be a dead ball delay a game foul on the defense, and the offense will be held to the same standard of not simulating action at the snap. In addition, the defense, we know, can't use words or signals that simulate the sound or cadence of the offense, but now the terms move and stem are reserved for the defense and can't be used by the offense, just like the offensive clap cannot be used by the defense. Our in-season interpretation from last year concerning substitution fouls has now been codified into the rules. Anytime after the 2-minute timeout, if the defense commits a substitution foul and 12 or more players are on the field and participate in the down, officials will penalize the defense for the foul, and at the option of the offended team, the offense, they can reset the game clock back to the time displayed at the snap. And the game clock will then restart on the next snap. This keeps the defense from trying to burn time by putting 12 or more players out on the field. Now, 2 points of note: if the 12th defender was attempting to get off the field but was still on the field at the snap and had no influence on the play, then the penalty will apply, but there will be no clock adjustment. And Team A, if they have a long game, they can decline the penalty and keep the clock reset. There are 2 adjustments to our technology rules from last year. First, coach-to-player communications is now permissive in FCS in addition to FBS. And as far as tablets, they still may not be interconnected to other devices to project larger images, except during halftime intermission in the locker room. And our final rules change. As we know, eye shields must be clear and there are no medical exceptions allowed. But new for 2025, a manufacturer may submit a nearly clear eye shield without mirroring or reflective effects for review to the NCAA Football Rules Committee by June 1 for this season. Approved shields will be communicated back out to conferences and officials well before the start of the season. Now I'd like to talk through 2 editorial changes. First, roughing the passer. And we know that no defensive player shall unnecessarily rough a passer when it's obvious the ball has been thrown. And currently, a player in a passing posture is considered defenseless, and they cannot be hit forcibly in the knee area below. But roughing the passer includes defined contact to an offensive player when it's obvious the ball has left the passer's hand. Now, the rule also includes this defined contact to an offensive player that is in a passing posture. Now, this will also be roughing the passer. And as we look at a play from our postseason, we see the quarterback here is in a passing posture and he's hit forcibly in the head by the defender. Now, the player was in a passing posture, so he's defenseless, and this is a targeting foul. We can see there's forcible contact to the head or neck area, and there is an attack by the defender. With the language change, this would also be roughing the passer with targeting, and the roughing the passer is not reviewed. Only the targeting foul is reviewed by replay. And so if for some reason, if ever a targeting foul would be overturned in this type situation, the roughing the passer would stand and the 15-yard penalty would be enforced. The final editorial change we'll discuss concerns the field and logo placements. Now, the number of decorative markings has not changed year over year. A team is allowed a center logo, 4 flanking logos, and 2 end zone logos, all the same as last year. But now, as you can see from the diagram, the institutions and conferences have more flexibility in what can go into each of these logo placements. Well, that's it for our highlighted changes, and I hope this is helpful as you begin your season, but this is not intended to supplant complete and full thorough rule study. Best of luck to all as we prepare for the season.